We could call this podcast Groovy Tunes.
No.
Groovy Tunes, a Gonzaga music podcast.
Yeah, how about no? Can you be a jazz musician without knowing music theory?
How does your work as a software engineer influence how you view your musicianship? Does it at all?
The role of assistant conductor that Stallman's giving us, that is the responsibility of a graduate teaching assistant.
Yeah.
And you're getting that opportunity as an undergrad, which is only possible because you are one of 2 music education majors in your grade.
Ray Fun Williams, 1872 to 1958, and I spelled that correctly first try.
I argue that I should be taking more breaks than I do, and I don't leave a lot.
I was going to say, I think rest is good.
This is why we're having a podcast where we are learning, because we are still, like I said, as much as I make fun of my age and pretending like I'm old, we are young and still expanding our horizons.
Yes.
Hence why we're here.
This is so fun though, because I feel a little pressure because I'm such a podcast junkie. I listen to more podcasts than music. I don't know if I should be admitting that.
I wish I had time to listen to more podcasts.
To me, it's almost solely when I drive.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like driving and like
but you never
doing chores.
So do you ever listen to a podcast episode all the way through?
Oh God, no.
So you do it in like chunks.
Yes, but also the podcasts I listen to range from like 90 minutes to like 3 to 4 hours at a given.
3 to 4. There are podcasts that are 3 to 4 hours long.
And there's.
I say that jokingly as if this podcast could not turn into that.
Yes. So my favorite podcast I listen to, they're like, we're not even a real podcast. We don't have ads. We don't make any money off of this. It's 4 dorks who turn on a Skype call and hit record.
That's the podcast you listen to?
Yes.
Oh.
It's basically us, except we're sitting here with microphones and not
across the
and we've
ether?
actually met each other.
Yeah.
We're not just internet friends.
I see. Fair enough.
Also, neither of us are from Montana, so we have internet access.
Tell that to Colton. Jeez.
No, they always joke. Paul's from Montana, and he's like travels by horse and buggy, and the TV is like the magical box where the survivor comes out of. Yeah. For I die. We could also call ourselves the Music Men and open this podcast with Iowa Stubborn every time.
I was in that show.
I think I did know that.
That was when I first got introduced to barbershop, and I was really excited about. I really wanted to be. I don't remember the name of the character, but I wanted to be the tenor in the barbershop.
Yes,
quartet.
if we ever have somebody from the Spokane barbershop, if we have Chuck on this show, he
would come on.
I want to have, if we do like music intro, I want Lida Rose.
Lida Rose is harder than you think it is, though.
Oh, but it's so good.
Lida Rose is really tough.
No, we could just do the original Broadway recording.
No, what I want is, I've told my quartet, I said, if like Civic Theater or some theater company here in Spokane or in the Spokane area does Music Man, we as a quartet
would
are auditioning to be the quartet in the Music Man.
So here is my love song.
Because that's the thing with Music Man is you need to have a quartet that just like is just on it.
Yes.
And like you can get away with having community members who don't sing a barbershop quartet, but it's just so much more work.
Also, please, for the sake of your rehearsal pianist, have a quartet who is on it.
What do you mean?
I was the rehearsal pianist for Music Man, and there is no hell like open score barbershop.
Oh, yeah.
It was awful.
That's why Christian's the go. Like, we're so lucky we have Christian as our baritone, because when we get stuck on something, he just sits down and can just play the open score.
Yeah, that is not my
Because they don't do piano reductions in barbershop music because it's all a cappella anyways.
Right.
Like, it's very rare that you have, like, the course that I sang in for a couple of years, they have a, like, we rehearse with a piano because Christian comes and works with us, but I don't know that, when I was in a barbershop course back in Bellingham, there was no piano in the room at all.
Yeah.
And you're working with amateurs who don't, sometimes can't match pitch, sometimes have a hard time learning notes and that kind of stuff. And
that
you
is
just
terrifying.
but you figure it out and it comes together.
Do you have somebody like plunking parts on a pitch pipe? Like,
No, there's just a lot of sectional work.
yeah.
Like the section leaders in barbershop work really hard outside of rehearsal to learn the part and do it well. And like when I was in Bellingham, you split into sectionals a lot.
Yeah.
Like definitely, potentially 2 to 3 times a rehearsal. You split off into sectionals just to cram notes into your head.
I want this on the record because I know it is a very effective rehearsal technique. I hate sectionals.
Yeah. I mean, well, especially with barbershop. Barbershoppers, a lot of them learn, and that's one of the things I like about barbershop, is a lot of them learn by ear.
Yeah.
And the ability to, tags are not taught with people on their phones with the sheet music out. Like, someone knows all 4 parts and teaches them by ear, and you learn 4 measures, and you sing pretty stuff. Like, that's the one thing about barbershop. But then, yes, everything is pretty much done in there by ear.
I want to see if I remember this. Is the bass part for in a gingham gown, she stole my heart away.
The funny thing is that tag, the only part I think I know is the baritone part because it's so. Young gown, she stole my heart away. Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't have, it's funny for being people just assume that I'm a barbershop guy. And it's like, I enjoy the art form, but I don't know as much about barbershop as people think I do. Like, I listen to it a lot. I have charts. Like, I'm in a barbershop quartet. I don't not know anything, but like, when it comes to tags, I really don't know a lot of the popular stuff. Or like polecats. There's a whole book that the Barbershop Harmony Society has made that's just like 90-second songs. And they're like, people just memorize that whole book. And I don't know. I sight read all of them. I don't know anything.
I have been to one barbershop workshop in my life. That is all I've got. So
fair enough.
I like listening to barbershop. Well, okay, and I was assistant music director for Tri-City's production, The Music Man.
Sure.
So that's
you did some stuff.
That's my barbershop Vietnam right there.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Is this part of the podcast? We're not we haven't started.
No, we haven't started. We probably should start.
Are we we're just gonna insert this maybe this is a
bonus
bonus
who knows?
feature.
Maybe this is like a bonus feature. Maybe that whole
Patreon.
thing that's the Patreon one day in the future. It's these That's how we'll
call it bonus episode number 1, my barbershop Vietnam.
And everyone online is wondering what that is. Well, everyone, welcome to our brand new show.
It's called Beyond the Score. I knew this. Trevor did not.
Thanwe just came up with we literally workshopped the name.
Trevor came up with the name,
ago.
and I remembered it.
Well, there you go.
Are we already getting an explicit rating on iTunes for this?
Are we?
Oh, dear Lord. My mother's going to kill me.
But yeah, welcome to our new show. This is Beyond the Score. I'm one of your hosts, Trevor Bushnell.
And I am Luke Liebert.
And this is a new little project that we're starting this summer. Luke and I are very good friends, and we are both practicing musicians in the world. And we like talking about music, and we talk about it a lot. A lot. Like, so much so that, we're in a group, and we're hanging out with our friends, and our friends literally have to tell us, because they're also musicians, and they're like, I was going to say,
this friend group, they are music majors.
And they're like, you need to stop. We need a break. This is us hanging out. Please stop talking about music. So
what was it? It was like we'd gone through like half a bottle of peach wine. It's 1 o'clock in the morning.
You can't say that on the show.
We're at
you can't say that on the show.
Why not?
You're under the...
Oh, shit. I totally can't. Hey, we're releasing this on June 22nd, 2026. This was all on June 21st, 2026. Anyway, the punchline of this story was no more Moses Hogan at 1:30 in the morning.
And all of that just to sacrifice. We can neither confirm nor deny who was in our presence during that time.
But I can confirm they, including myself, were all 21 years of age at the time. We're off to a great start.
Oh, my goodness. Anyways, so we wanted to start a podcast for us to get a chance to nerd out about music because we're also both busy in our lives, and this is our chance to fulfill that part of our soul because we need it desperately.
But not only that, not only just a chance for us to nerd out about music, but for us to get to nerd out with people who also love to nerd out about music. Maybe not all the time, like our friends who get mad at us, but in, 1 to 2 hour doses.
Mm-hmm. And I think the reason, we called it Beyond the Score is we're both, Luke is still currently at Gonzaga. I'm a Gonzaga alum. And one of the things that we're both choristers, and one of the things that our teacher is very big about is how do you connect with the music beyond the score? Like, yes, the symbols on the page are absolutely important for bringing the music to life, but they are the outside layer of the onion that is the deeper meaning, and the notes are the composer's expression of true meaning and true connection and raw emotion. And it's important to be able to peel off those layers of the onion to fully realize yourself as a musician, because it's not just what's on the page. It's not just the marked dynamics. It's not just noticing that that's a dominant 7 chord and knowing how to tune your fifths in a dominant 7 chord.
I feel attacked.
But it's, you have to continue learning. You have to continue growing. And these kinds of conversations are how we will expand. And I'm excited because we have a lot of, the reason this podcast came to be, I've been sitting on this idea for a podcast for a long time. And I think the only reason I was able to say, let's just give it a shot and get started is, oh my gosh, there's probably 30 bullet points on here now of ideas of people that we want to bring on and talk to and learn from.
What Trevor's trying to say is the reason that this finally happened is he finally found somebody that matches his freak. So
you're not wrong.
You talked about how I'm a student at Gonzaga and you're graduated. Why don't we introduce ourselves for the uninitiated?
Sure. Okay.
For anybody who possibly might ever see this and not
know who we are. Well, why don't you go ahead and get started,
Okay.
Luke?
So my name is Luke. I am going into my 3rd year at Gonzaga University. I'm a music education major. Billed as choral emphasis, but I also do a lot of instrumental fun stuff. And I am a singer in Gonzaga choral ensembles and a musician, an instrumental musician, a pianist in, jazz is primarily my instrumental domain. All right, Trevor, who are you? What do you do? Well, that's just the quick and dirty.
Oh, I see. Oh, I've lived a long life. Lol. I say it 24. I graduated from Gonzaga in 2024 with a degree in applied mathematics with a focus in statistics, wanting to go into some sort of software development kind of career. And as a part of my time at Gonzaga, I was a big choir nerd. I did a lot of choir stuff. I started a couple of my own choral ensembles, including a group called Concordanza, which was kind of a blend of Voce kind of king singers. That's who I was influenced by early on. Before I met Dr. Stallman. And so we did a lot of early music kind of stuff there. And then also I founded the Zagtags, which was a barbershop quartet on Gonzaga's campus, which was really cool. That's a whole story for
I did not know any of this. This is fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Zach Mooney was the bass in that. It was.
Oh, of course
Zach,
he was.
It was me, Zach, Henry, and Robert. I mean,
wow.
It was a kick-ass
Dream
group.
team.
It was a kick-ass group. It was a lot of fun. One of the gigs that we had was we did one of the math professors at Gonzaga wanted us to intro his class. And so the 310 rolls around, and instead of him walking into class to start the math lecture, the 4 of us walked in and we sang Under the Boardwalk, and he came in dancing, and then we just left the room. Class started.
I am filled with such relief. I thought this was a math class you were in.
I think Henry was in the class at the time. That's how we got the gig. I think he was in it, so he had to stay and then learn linear algebra.
I don't think of myself as a person that is easily too proud. I'll do just about anything. That might be my high water mark.
It was a lot of fun. We enjoyed it. That was a cool gig. But anyways, now my intro was taking way longer than yours. But anyways, I founded a lot of choral ensembles. And the final one that I founded was for my honors thesis, which was the intersection of AI choral music. So I did a lot of research on AI-generated choral music, and then I got together a group of 12 musicians, and they sang AI-generated choral music. And that was the first time that I was teaching. And that was kind of the first month that I realized, okay, I talk about choral music so much. My grades were suffering because I was involved so much in choir and not doing my schoolwork that I was like, maybe this is my calling. And 4 weeks before walking across the stage, I decided I wanted to be a music teacher. And so fast forward to now, I got a second degree in music with a choral conducting emphasis. I was the assistant conductor of the Gonzaga choral program for a year. And conducted both the Glee Club and Musea at the same time, and also covered for concert choir.
And I just realized I know what our cover art for this podcast episode is going to be.
It's not going to be that. It's not going to be that. I totally know what you're thinking. It's that Myrtle Wolfson of me conducting, and that's not going to be it.
For those of you on the video, he looks like this. And if you're listening to this only in the car or something, it's Trevor with the most delightful mid-conducting face on the planet.
I'm almost positive that was the Glee Club, not the Musea song too.
I think I know where in the song that is at.
That's crazy. But anyways, so I've had a long not a long teaching career. I don't know why I said long. I have then been involved in the teaching aspect.
You are 24 years old, Trevor.
I don't have that much experience. But I am a nerd. I'm excited to learn, and I also do a lot of singing in the community area. So I just stepped away from that role, but I used to be the assistant conductor of the Lilac City Voices, which was a barbershop chorus in Spokane. But I still sing with Dr. Stallman in the Spokane Symphony Chorale, and I also have my own barbershop quartet called Spot the Difference.
I too want to say I have had the pleasure of singing in 3 choral ensembles with Trevor throughout my musical time. Gonzaga Glee Club, concert choir, and the liturgical music ensemble, lest you forget.
Oh, sure.
Under the amazing and perennial direction of Dr. Daniel Danka. Perennial was a horrible word. We really miss you. I know the guy who is now the director of that ensemble.
That's because you are the director of that ensemble.
I am now filling that role. Me and hopefully future Beyond the Score guest Lucas Manfred.
Wow, you just dragged Lucas right into that. That's crazy.
Yeah. I would be underwater if I was not directing that ensemble without Lucas. So
fair enough. Well, I hope he wants to come on this podcast because now you've said it, so now that means he has to come on this podcast at some point.
I'm sure that is not what forces him to come on this podcast. For those of you who don't know us personally and are just bewildered by what's happening, I'm very sorry.
This is what you get when you get 2 really good friends on a podcast.
I'm sure there are lots of you out there who are just, your heads are spinning.
Well, why don't we start getting into some of our content? So what we've done is for this inaugural episode, we've just come up with, and we've kind of been bantering about this ourselves, so we've come up with a couple questions for each other musically that we're going to ask. And in the future, we're going to have some of our other friends and mentors that we look up to on the show, and we'll come up with questions for them. But for now, it's just us, and let's let the audience kind of get to know us and kind of some of our musical, kind of how some of our brains work and some of the things that we talk about and have questions for.
Do we really want to show them how our brains work?
Well, we started a podcast, so I think if people clicked on this video, they clearly are interested
Everybody,
in that.
Buckle up. Brace for impact.
Literally. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get started.
Yeah,
well, actually, no, you have a...
Oh,
never mind. A couple questions. I feel like you have a couple questions on here that maybe are more prominent for starting.
Okay.
So why don't you start?
We were just talking before the podcast about how I have the song Show People from Curtains stuck in my head. Go listen to it. It's awesome. And it's about why we love being in the theater, yada, yada, yada. I'm also a huge theater kid, if you
Luke
hadn't
knows
gathered.
a lot about music, and I know very little, which is why he is on the podcast.
You know very little about music. Have you lost your damn mind?
Lucas told me the word that he has described of me is that I am a walking choral encyclopedia. Not anyone else has used those words, but that could not be
Truer.
But that's kind of my thing is I know a lot about choir and like nothing about anything else. And at least you are. That's one thing that I'm jealous of you about is you are at least a versatile person.
Well, that's good. I'm glad somebody's describing me as versatile. Okay. So anyway, back to Show People. Mm-hmm. Why do you consider yourself a music person?
Why do I consider myself a music person?
Yes.
I don't know. I just do. I mean, what's actually funny? My brain never shuts off from music. Like, even if I'm taking a break or, like, in the summer, there's obviously not as many gigs. Because I think it's funny that, we never talk about that, but the music calendar, the life of a musician kind of follows the academic calendar, even if you're not in academia, which is interesting. But my point being, even when I am not as busy with gigging, and I've actually scaled my life a lot back from gigging. That's a whole nother thing. I just find that my brain is always thinking about something. Like, I have some sort of choral song running through my head. I'm a composer, so I have an idea that's running through my head.
Can I ask, what song is stuck in your head right now?
What song is stuck in my head right now? It is a Rafe Vaughan Williams piece called Bushes and Briars. It is on Joe Waldo's Six's. Well, they're releasing a new summer album that's coming out this summer, but it's about, like, summer, like, outdoory vibes. And it's a Rafe Vaughan Williams piece called Through Bushes and Briars.
Love that.
And through bushes and through briars, I lately took my way.
You're going to get us copyrighted.
Rafe Vaughan Williams has been dead. Although he's a recent enough composer. He might not have been dead for long enough that we might get copyright struck from that.
Uh-oh.
I mean, he's been dead for long enough. I don't know. He's obviously not. Is he alive? There's no way he's alive. But he is 20th
Hold my
century.
mic. I want to Google this.
Okay. He is 20th century, I think. That's embarrassing that I don't know that. He's definitely 20th century. There's no way he's still alive. There's no way.
Rafe Vaughan Williams, 1872 to 1958. And I spelled that correctly first try.
Did you really? Oh, you did. Good for you.
For those of you who don't know, Rafe Vaughan Williams spells his name like Ralph. It's really bizarre. Yeah, it's like Ralph Fiennes from Harry Potter.
Well, it's not just that, but his middle name is not spelled how we say it. Rafe Vaughan Williams. Like, it looks like Vaughan.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That too. I mean, it's both.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm just saying his name wrong, and I'm about to get flamed in the comments.
Well, and I think I'm about to get
possible.
flamed by the Harry Potter fans who went, how dare you say that incorrectly?
This is why we're having a podcast where we are learning, because we are still, like I said, as much as I make fun of my age and pretending like I'm old, we are young and still expanding our horizons.
Yes.
Hence why we're here. But anyways, my brain never turns off, and so I think that's how I know I'm a music person, is I'm always thinking about it. I'm always thinking about some sort of research question thing. I still talk to Dr. Stolman a lot and give her my questions. Maybe it's not as often as I was when I was in school, but, I still am curious and have questions, and I'm still – there's always something on my mind regarding music, and I think that's how I know. Like, a lot of people that I talk to, like, that's not true for a lot of people. Like, there's a lot of music people, and I'm not saying that makes them bad at their craft, or that, I argue that I should be taking more breaks than I do, and I don't leave a lot of
I was going to say, I think rest is good.
But, there's not really anyone else that I know who, like, it's genuinely at the forefront of their brain at every single waking moment of their existence. And it just is for me.
That's fantastic. I'm like that with reality television.
Okay. Okay, elaborate.
I don't know. I'm like the world's leading, I'm Spokane's leading CBS reality expert, I think.
Okay.
We don't need to get into that. That's a different podcast that I probably listen to.
That's the bonus episode.
Yeah. Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Why are you a music person then? You asked me that. I feel like that's a fair question for you.
I think I'm a music person because we are very similar in this way.
Yes.
I would not say music is the forefront thing in my brain all the time. I always have a song stuck in my head. I cannot picture a single waking moment in my life that I have not had a song stuck in my head. Also, we all have different gifts and talents. I am not very good at many things. Many of the few things that I am good at are music related. And so my professional livelihood depends on it.
It's true.
And
you had a busy weekend this weekend, I believe.
I
right?
did. Yes, I had a gig. Let's see. Oh, gosh. Sorry, this is riveting. I had a gig back home where I live in Tri-Cities, or where I'm from in Tri-Cities. And then I had a double header yesterday morning at St. Aloysius, where I am a pianist.
Nice.
2 masses. I felt like a good little Catholic.
And you've been traveling a lot, too.
My parents would be so proud.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, I'm a music person, I think, because music greatly impacts my day-to-day life. I think more than your average person, far more than your average
Sure.
person.
Sure.
And I would say, as much as any professional working musician. I mean, I guess I am a professional musician because that's how I keep the lights on. But I am still a student.
Right.
And so that's, my academic life is vastly shaped by music.
Right.
So that's why I'm a music person.
Fair enough. Let's see. Why don't you hit one more of your questions?
Can you dive in a little deeper on your inspiration for this podcast? And I also want to know, do you have podcasts that you listen to that aren't this podcast that influenced your vision for this show?
Well, it's funny. I'm not a big podcast listener. I used to be.
I want the record to state that Trevor falls asleep to podcasts.
Okay, that's not...
Or at least he did.
Now I fall asleep to Raffle and Balatro videos. Which has been the new thing that Luke and I have been getting into. That's not the first thing that Luke and I share a common interest in that is not music related.
Yes.
Which is a good
That's another
thing for
special
us.
episode.
But I would say inspiration for this podcast. So, this podcast was, my idea. I've always wanted to have a podcast. I tried to have a couple podcasts that didn't work. I tried to have a speedrunning podcast, and that died. I tried that on 2 separate occasions, and they both died 2 episodes in.
Damn.
And then I had a podcast with the Glee Club at Gonzaga that ran 10 episodes and then also died just because people I got busy. It was a lot. It was funny. We recorded an episode on my birthday that never saw the light of day, and I don't think I have the footage anymore.
Oh, no.
Which is really sad.
The Lost Glee episode.
The Lost Glee episode. I need to go back and listen to some of those because those were funny. But my inspiration, I'd say the podcast that is, in my Spotify, well, not Spotify, I have YouTube now, but I canceled Spotify because I get ad-free YouTube.
Yeah.
And free music. And I listen to choir music, and there's just more choir music on YouTube than there's on Spotify.
Is this podcast is not sponsored by YouTube
No,
Premium?
it's not sponsored by YouTube. Sorry. I do use your product though, and it's amazing. But where was I going?
What podcast do you listen to?
So my podcast that's normally in my top rated when I had Spotify, and then also now that I have YouTube, is a podcast called The Yard. It's made by a bunch of Twitch streamers that all live in the same house, and they just literally, there's no script. They just literally turn the camera on and just hang out. And it goes for an hour and a half, and then it goes for another hour and a half on Patreon. And it was just like guys come together, hang out, and that's kind of how Glee Club felt at the beginning for me. And so I wanted to have a podcast where we just continue to have a space to just like hang out and be us. And so I've always wanted to have a podcast and run that. But I think what I've learned over the years is some structure is good. And I think that's what's nice about this show is, we at least, we've got our devices. We have a general plan, but, I look at our screen. There's not that many bullet points that are on there. And we're not like, it's not like we have like we're going to say this thing first and then this thing. It's just like we have our own notes that we don't completely derail.
I love how mysterious this looks. You all out there in the ether have no idea what we're looking at. And that, because if you were, you'd be like, oh, yeah, that's not where that went at all. I mean, we could be playing Balatro for all you know.
Can you imagine?
Crazier things have happened.
Crazier things have happened. I have played Balatro. Stallman's going to kill me. But this is a funny story because you saw it. Well, you didn't see it, but
Joey saw it.
Joey saw it. I have done some things that I'm not proud of on stage that I don't do anymore.
Good.
Which is good.
As of last month?
As of last month. Exactly. As of last month. Which is funny because we got a talking to at the Christmas concert with the Symphony Chorale about not doing those kinds of things on stage.
Gee, I wonder why.
Oh, my attitude in the Symphony Chorale is so bad. It's so bad. But, okay. I've got a question for you, Luke Liebert.
Okay.
Because I know nothing about jazz. I wish I was good at jazz. I'm not. I haven't been in that space, which is crazy because I've lived in Washington State my whole life. And jazz choir, I feel like, is a Washington State thing.
Yeah, I would agree.
But I've never been in a jazz choir. I don't really listen to jazz. sole exposure I have had to jazz in my whole life has been the Gonzaga Jazz Department, which is wonderful and
Woot,
fantastic.
woot.
That is about it. So, but I'm also someone, math guy, music theory guy. I like looking at music on the page. What are you looking at? Because there's improv in jazz. And so I just don't, like, when you are up there performing with the jazz bands, I don't understand, like, what are you, because I've seen you bring your iPad up to perform. Like, what are you looking at? Genuinely.
Here's the great answer that you're going to love. It depends.
Okay.
No jazz charts are created equally. So let me just clarify. I'm a jazz pianist, which is its whole own. Sorry, words are hard. It's its own universe.
Okay.
It's very different. So a jazz chart for me, it could be a lead sheet. I could have melody lines. I could have chord voicings written out. I could literally just have measures with slashes and chord changes. And so a lot of my jazz work is very much by ear. When I get up with the Gonzaga Jazz Band, Jazz Ensemble, I know what the tune is going to sound like. I can sing the whole thing. I'm locked and loaded, ready to go. And if you watch our concert footage, there you often see me singing along with Duke Ellington's Peanut Brittle Brigade.
Bang.
But so because every jazz chart is created differently and has different needs, my role as a pianist is different. So if I'm just comping, I'm just reading the changes to make sure I'm in the same spot of the band as the band. But I'm also listening to the band and hearing what I'm playing and making sure that I'm not, woefully alone off in the wilderness somewhere. And then when I'm soloing, I'm looking at the chord changes. It's just to keep me on track. Really, to answer your question.
It's like our notes.
Yes, TLDR.
Podcast.
It really is, yes. To answer your question, it's just to make sure I'm in the same spot as everybody else. But
Fair enough.
It's not what I'm focusing on unless I have a specific section that I need to lock in and I need to play these notes correctly. Then I'm dump, 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 dump. Sorry.
You have to be better about
Sorry.
the mic in front of your face.
Oh,
Anyways,
boy.
sorry, go on.
Yeah, sorry, that was a little more Peanut Brittle Brigade for you, where, I have to lock in and play exactly as it's written. That's a rarity in jazz, but every once in a while, I have those specific things that I need to lock in on.
Sure.
But most of the time, it's just, here's the roadmap, don't get lost, but I'm playing that baby by ear.
Huh. So there is a melody in jazz. Who's responsible for carrying that melody?
Not me.
Got you.
Oftentimes, it's trumpets or the saxes.
Okay, so it is, like inquire, generally the rule is sopranos have the melody. So there is like an instrument in the band that is responsible for melody?
Yes, and it changes. And because I'm a jazz musician, when you're in early music theory classes and you hear an excerpt of something, oftentimes you'll get asked, okay, who has the melody? And it could be a choral piece, it could be an instrumental piece. We jazz musicians, we're very good at deciphering that because you got to be aware of that. And sometimes in my comping as a jazz pianist, I might play along with the melody. Once again, sorry, I'm on a Peanut Brittle Brigade kick. I love this tune. Check it out. It will get you in the holiday spirit. It is Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker March jazzified. The horns are going dum ba 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 da da da. So as I'm comping, I might be just playing that with them if it fits. But it's all about the vibes. It's all about matching what works, finding your spot.
Are there always measures in your score?
Yes.
Or could you get handed just literally the names of chords over time?
No. There are measures. It's not total anarchy.
Okay.
Yes. Now I might have 32 bars of nothing, so I have one of those really annoying rests
with block that says 32.
32, which is awesome.
But there might be literally, like you said, there might be chord changes, so there might be literally no notes per se in the measures.
Correct.
It's just things on top of the measures so that you know.
Yes, oftentimes it's slash notation. So where the chord symbol is written above which slash tells you what beat it's on.
Oh.
And then sometimes there's chord notation where it's slash notation but with tempo markings. So I can see, okay, this chord hit is an eighth note. I might have, a dotted eighth, 16th rhythm that I'm supposed to play these chords.
So along the idea of like improvising, if you're given a chord, right, over a certain slash, is it up can you kind of choose whatever voicing you want to put that chord in then? Is that kind of the idea?
Yes. So that's the fun with being a jazz pianist. It's very choose your own adventure. And I will say, so when I was learning how to play a jazz piano, something I struggled with and still struggle with is how to effectively play chord voicings. And there are what feels like millions of them.
Can you so if the chord says you need to play E flat, can you do like inversions, or do you have to stick with what is written on the page?
Oh, certainly. And
because you could see lead sheet notation that says like E flat over G. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You have to. Does that mean if you see just straight E flat, you can voice it however you want on the top, but the root has to be E flat, or the bass? Excuse me.
No, especially as a pianist. In fact, pianists, and this is something that I struggle with, and band directors side-eye me for, is pianists are often expected not to play roots. So many chord voicings in jazz are called rootless voicings. So you don't have that tonic. That's covered by the bass player.
Okay.
And
so the bass player maybe necessarily sees the same things that you see, but they're responsible for just outlining that root stuff.
And when I arrange the very little arranging of jazz charts I do, the Gonzaga Jazz Combo Program, you arrange all of your own tunes.
That's
it's very
cool
fun.
Thing I like about the jazz program.
But when I write rhythm parts, the bass part and the piano part are almost always the same.
Fair enough.
So yeah, the bass player often sees similar things, and then I get to just kind of do what I want, and as long as the band director tells me to stop, I throw in alterations, I throw in substitutions, I have fun. You'll never see a chord though that's just E flat. It'll be E flat 7, sharp 9, flat,
sure, right, yeah,
flat 9, sharp 11, with all the things. There's lots of fun flavors to throw in there.
If you are, say, Lily Franklin, you're an instrumentalist. Shout out Lily Franklin. Or you're a trumpetist, you're a trombonist, you are, some other instrument. Do you see notation in the measures then?
Yes, I am going to make an assumption. So everybody brace yourselves.
Uh-oh.
I think it's sort of orchestra-esque, where a trumpet part, you just have your trumpet line, and there are still chord changes above that trumpet line because, trumpet players got to improvise. And so when you're improvising, the chord changes are your roadmap. You're
right. You
following
have to know where you fit in the context of that moment.
Not knowing your chord changes while you're improvising is like driving down the wrong side of the road.
Yeah. Okay, so then that leads to my next question. Unless you have more to say.
Nope.
Okay. You are a very smart individual, and I would say
stop.
There are very few people who know more about music theory than you. The only other person I would say that is like Lily Franklin, and she's also, shocker, a jazzist. So I'd say jazz people know a lot about music theory. And I think, the little that I have learned about in jazz in music theory, it makes sense because I've said that jazz is the most structured, unstructured form of music making that there is. Because, you kind of don't have a roadmap, but at the same time, it's not like the people who say jazz is just playing any note whenever you want that's also not true either. There's context, and you can be playful in that context, but every single note does not fit at every single moment in a jazz piece.
Now, I certainly have played solos that sound like that, and you would think that I would be imitating like Schoenberg because I'm just lost in the sauce. But ideally, no, that is not how that's supposed to work.
So I guess my question is it possible to, and the only way you would know how to fit in that context is knowing music theory and stuff like that, and being able to, because you have to do those kinds of calculations on the fly so quickly. My question to you is, can you be a jazz musician without knowing music theory? And if that's true, is there a ceiling that then gets hit because you just are missing that knowledge?
There absolutely is a ceiling. So I will say this: jazz pianists have a critical advantage in that we have to grow up faster than everybody else does. If you're gonna hack it as a jazz pianist, you need to be cold on your music theory. Jazz instrumentalists or other jazz instrumentalists, it's not as critical because many people just show up, they play the notes on the page,
Sure.
Collect your paycheck at the end of the show. But then soloing is harder. So in a lot of high school band classes, this is something that we worked on a lot, is you do learn basic music theory. It's a music theory 1 course because you need to know how to solo. But then there is that ceiling. People who don't know their music theory and don't understand how the chord changes impact your modulations and the keys that you're shifting in and out of and different modes and scales, their solos are often very rudimentary. You find one scale that kind of fits all, and you're stuck in that box. So the more music theory you know, the bigger your box to play in. The bigger your sandbox to play in is.
Interesting.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay, is it my turn?
I'm learning. I think it's your turn.
Oh, good.
I've learned a lot. I'm going to have obviously more questions about jazz in the future, but that's good for now.
Okay. I want to ask you, so in your non-musical life...
Because I have a lot of that.
It's very extensive. No, but I think this is fascinating because if I may pontificate for a moment, musicians have this kind of perception as being artists, very artistic kind of...
Are you saying I'm not artistic, Luke Liebert?
You're very artistic.
Are you saying I am not artistic at all? How dare you?
I just had a joke that I don't think I can say on the podcast. But
fair enough.
They have this perception.
I just realized what you're probably going to judge. The judge you're going to make. That's crazy.
No comment.
How dare you?
Hey, that would actually be a great segue to another question I have, but not yet.
The funny thing is, the people who do know me are probably knowing where you would have gone with that. I think that's the best part.
Even the people who've only known you for the time that they've listened to this podcast probably
fair enough. Fair enough.
Anywho, musicians have this perception as being artists and, not necessarily very logic-brained. Trevor and I are both very logic-brained people, which I think is interesting. My dad tells me, in another life, I should have been an engineer. I can't build for crap. I think that's insane. But I definitely do think I have kind of engineer brain.
Sure.
I think, Trevor, you too have kind of engineer brain.
Well, I would hope I am a software engineer, so I would hope that's what pays the bills. So I would hope that I have an engineering brain.
So this is fabulous because it drives me right into my question. How does your work as a software engineer influence how you view your musicianship? Does it at all? Is it like two segments of your brain, your software engineer brain and your music brain?
So, hello, everyone. We're back.
Funny story.
I'm about to lose my marbles, dude.
As you will see when this podcast comes to air, we encountered some technical difficulties along the way.
A 2-hour technical difficulty, and I'm still peaking. Whatever. We're gonna go at this point. Anyways, Luke, tell them what happened.
Okay. I'm not entirely sure. What crashed us out initially?
What crashed us out initially was, so my laptop is my laptop. The only laptop that I have that's good for this kind of stuff is the laptop that I have from work for my software development job, and it's a gaming laptop, so it has like barely any battery. So granted, I learned that I turned on low power mode too late, and then I also turned on low power mode too late, and I had my RGB keyboard on, and that was tough.
And
but
you were ignoring, most crucially, he forgot a charger.
Yes, I forgot my laptop charger. So thankfully, I saw the notification on the screen that said low power. You want to plug into a power source. So I was able to run up and stop the recording, so we at least have the first part of the conversation. But my laptop's dead, and we couldn't do that. So we go to Luke's computer and set up OBS and set up all the mics. But Max, because I threw it off the camera, but we have two of the exact same mic. I actually have a third one at home for when we eventually have guests. So it's all three of the same hardware. Mac does not like it when you have three of the same, or even two of the same hardware. It can't tell the difference. And so we tried plugging in both mics, and you could hear out of one, but you couldn't get input from the other. So we found a Blue Yeti mic in St. Greg's, and that is the workaround for this solution.
For the uninitiated, St. Greg's is the choral building across the street. And thank God Trevor remembered that there just was a mic sitting in there. So
After 2 hours, I was
Thanks,
like,
St. Greg's.
wait a second.
man, we were coding trying to figure this out.
I was in his terminal, like, installing some sus things on his computer. It was bad.
Hey, my mom's going to listen to this. Don't say that.
You were the one. I also, to be clear, Luke's mom said, I don't think you should be downloading it. I don't feel comfortable with this solution. And you went, no, it's fine. Just I go ahead and download it. And I was like,
One of us is a software engineer. One of us is not.
so either way, we are here. I think we left off on you were about to ask a question about.
Oh, God. I have
Tech
no
things.
idea what I was about to
It was your
ask.
number 7 in our notes.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. How does your work in the tech sphere influence your music? Do you have tech brain, music brain,
Yeah.
or is there overlap?
So I guess just to clarify, because I think that we're just going to edit it out here. So for context, as I've said, I'm a software engineer by trade. I do coding by day. And I think the essence of the question was like, does your, like, you've said that we're both very logical
Yes.
people. And so does the logic, do I approach music, I think was the idea, just do I approach it more logically, or like, what is that?
I was more talking about, do you find yourself influenced in your...
It's a big mic. Sorry.
Do you find yourself working in tech? Like, are there musical things that influence you? Or I guess what I'm... Sorry.
No, you're fine. Keep talking.
What I'm trying to ask is your music influenced at all by the fact that you work as a software
I'm lying. You can maybe hold a little bit here.
engineer?
Does my tech life influence my musicianship?
Yes.
My tech life, again, like I said, makes me a more logical person, and therefore I do approach music more logically before I approach the artistry. Absolutely. So, like, for example, I've mentioned before, I'm a composer, and I very much look at things through my first foray into music is through harmony. So I study chords, and I like looking at the pretty chords, and a lot of my favorite composers are composers who do things with pretty chords. Now, other things that I've learned by being a student at Gonzaga is, you have to develop all aspects of musicianship. And so, like, you have to think about things like text and that kind of thing, too. And there's other elements to artistry than just studying and analyzing the harmony. But, like, for example, when I open a new score, when I was teaching at Gonzaga, I would start by looking at the harmony, and then I would say, how is the text once I do the harmonic analysis, how is the text influenced by the harmony? And I make those kinds of connections and go, oh, what? That's kind of cool. And then that's ultimately what goes in my lesson plan to then go to, Musea or Glee Club. And I'm not necessarily saying you should think this is super cool. There is a crazy 5-chord here that makes this moment on this word feel so powerful. No.
That's what I do.
I know that's what you do, and that's what I'm thinking in my head, but the fact that I do that kind of analysis first in my head then helps me lesson plan better or be a better chorister, just like in the ensemble and stuff too. Sure. And I'd say that that's kind of my thing too, is I start logically, and then once I do the harmonic analysis, the instant next question in my brain is, how does the harmonic language influence the text? And I look at how those marry. And that's what creates really cool things. I think that's why Inner Voices turned out so well, because those were the kinds of questions that were running through my brain as I was putting things on the page.
Can you just give like a quick and dirty, like, what is Inner Voice?
So turns out teaching music is like really hard. Turns out it's like very hard, and it's very exhausting, and you fail a lot at the beginning, and I did not like failing a lot. And I learned a lot in a year and grew very quickly in a year. And I was often very frustrated with myself, and there were multiple times where literally got to the point where I was an email away from just dropping out of school. At one point in that 5th year, being like, nah, this is too hard. I'm cool just enjoying being a choral music nerd, and teaching is not for me. And Inner Voices was kind of my therapy in a sense, where I just kind of reflected on all of the bad thoughts that were running through my brain, but then I also wrote down some like positive thoughts that were true to who I was. And I realized that, it's going to be hard. I'm going to keep making mistakes. It ain't easy. You think that you're going to walk out of here with a degree and be ready to go in a classroom. You're going to have tools that you will be successful in a classroom. Don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, a bachelor's degree, you have tools and you can do the thing. But that does not mean you really know how to do the thing when you have the degree.
Trevor, this is not what I want to hear as a third-year music education student. No, thank you.
If you weren't going to hear it from me, you were going to hear it from Dr. Stolman, and she'll tell it to you like it is.
Yes.
And that's not just something that came up with me. I mean, that was after hours of sitting in Dr. Stolman's office, of her saying, you are, like, we prepare people to be ready to go in the classroom, and you are ready, but that doesn't mean you have everything perfectly unlocked. Like, there's just things that as is true in any career path, there are things that you just only learn by being thrown into the fire and actually doing the thing. That's why I like that Gonzaga, Stolman lets her music education students be assistant conductors, because it forces them to do the thing. You know what I mean?
Unrelated, I will say in my experience, jazz is a lot like that. You cannot fully understand how to play jazz until you just do it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm speaking as a traumatized jazz band person who I'm totally hijacking my own question.
You're fine.
I started playing in jazz big band at a summer camp and had no prior experience in school as an 8th grader. And so I BS my way through this audition, and I sit down in this jazz big band, Jazz 1, so it's the top ensemble. And the band director's just like, I want 2, 3, 4. And I was just like, what is going on? So, like, sorry, I love telling that story. That's how I got started with jazz, was literally go.
Yep.
Have fun.
And that's a lot of the things that I think that's why I was able to soak up so much in that year, because the reality is, getting a music minor, I had to take some classes, but I had a lot of my I had a good bit of my music classes done. And most of my music year was not actually spent in the classroom. I probably only spent about 15% of my time in lecture doing homework. And the other 85% of my time was on teaching, either doing my own personal research on how to be a better teacher, actively in a classroom. I think I probably spent, I was there for 6 hours a week at Mount Spokane High School for a semester. So over, 11 weeks, that was like, I did 60 hours about.
Shout out Mount Spokane.
In a high school classroom, which, for your observations, you're only supposed to get, 40 hours or something like that? Wow. Or 30, and I doubled that. I just spent so much time in the classroom. I helped Stolman organize the entire choral program, and, I was literally trial by fire. I knew every single part to every single song in the entire choral program repertoire for that year. I spent so much time lesson planning, because, Stolman was, so busy that year that, she was, you never knew when she was going to be gone, and I never knew when I was going to have to get up and just do the thing.
Right.
There were even days that she showed up and she was like, I can't do the thing right now. Can you just do the first 15 minutes of class, and I'll just pick up where you leave off. I had to be ready to just
jump
with
right in.
And obviously Stolman taught me and I got some training from her, but a lot of it was not really her explicitly teaching me, but her just trusting me enough to give me her ensembles and go, I ain't gonna be there. Good luck. Figure it out. And that was honestly the best form of teaching she could have given me.
Which is amazing. That is an amazing amount of trust that she put in you.
It was. To this day, I even wonder why she, because again, I never obviously I never had full control over the program by any stretch of the means. But I'm the only one so far who has assistant conducted 2 ensembles at the same time and had to conduct 2 pieces. Mm-hmm. And I didn't conduct concert choir, which, praise the Lord, but that would have been too much. But I did have to do substitute teaching a good bit in that room. Mm-hmm. And so, I had my hands full across the whole program. And yeah, that's a lot to give to a student. But I mean, she did treat me because, I had also, what a lot of people don't realize, I came in with a lot of work already having been done. Like, I had created 2 of my own groups. I'd already written a piece for treble choir and conducted a piece for treble choir by that point. I had my thesis. So I had music teaching experience at that point. And I was professionally singing in Spokane by that point too. So like I had a resume that led me to be able to do that. Like I was a student, but she treated me more like a grad student than she did like, when you'll inevitably go and do it. Because also I wouldn't want someone like you doing what I did, not because of like I'm worried you could absolutely do it. It's just a matter of like, I had a bachelor's degree under my belt. I had no core.
Right.
Like I'm not kidding when I said I spent only 15% of my time in a classroom, and I just don't think that's true of undergrad music majors at Gonzaga, that they only spend 15% of their time in a classroom.
I can confirm this is in fact true.
Like you're taking 25, 26 credits, like you're in class all the time, and then you still have to find time to practice and find time to lesson plan. Like I was able to do all of those choirs because I was only in like 3 classes.
Yeah.
And one of them was like music theory, which didn't have that much homework. And then the rest were education classes, and it was more in the field doing the education thing. I didn't have that much homework that was homework.
Did you have crop for theory in your 5th year?
In my 5th year, no. I only had crop for theory 1 and theory 2.
Okay.
And then Spatal taught theory 3 and 4.
Okay.
And Spatal also taught conducting. Which again, so like my 3 classes I would take on both semesters were I was in a theory class, I was in a conducting class, and I was in an education class. The education and conducting classes, like, yes, the education class, for example, yes, you have homework, but everything you do that is homework, you then also do in a classroom.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, technically you could call it homework, but I didn't look at it as homework. I looked at it as, these are the things that I have to do as a teacher. Like, this is the kind of education work that I have to do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Especially in elementary music ed methods. Anne Molesky is a wonderful, wonderful human, and she does such a good job at structuring and pacing you through the semester to come up with the checkpoints to be able to successfully teach in the classroom and lesson plan and that kind of stuff. And Hamlin does the same thing in classroom management. So, I mean, the only class that had true homework was music theory. Yeah. Because conducting, too, I mean, I was taking those skills into my teaching.
Yes.
As a, you know what I mean?
Conducting, too, has some homework, though. In my experience, you have to do a lot of score study and analysis, and
maybe you do. But that's also, again, I count that as part of the job of a conductor.
Okay, fair enough. I found conducting 2 to be very frustrating because conducting 1, you learn a whole lot of stuff in a short amount of time, and it's a lot of fun. Conducting 2, you learn way less, and I feel like your workload goes way up. Yes.
Welcome to being a conductor.
Yay, rah.
Conducting 1 is more about, do you know how to wave your arm? Do you literally know how to move your arms in a 4 pattern?
Yeah.
And it look good, and it communicate what it needs to communicate to an ensemble.
Yes.
Can you do mixed meter time? Can you do... Actually, is mixed meter conducting 1 or conducting 2?
It's right at the start of conducting 2.
Okay. So, never mind. Either way, conducting 1 is like, can you do the basic patterns, look good, and communicate effectively?
Yes.
And you don't even... Also, this is a hot take about conducting. I don't think your conducting has to look good to be an effective communicator to your ensemble. My conducting is awful. Like, I've looked at videos of it. I don't think my conducting is good, but my conducting is effective.
Fair enough.
Like, I got the sound that I wanted. Like, I've gone back and listened to the videos from Glee Club and Musea. I got exactly what I wanted out of those singers, but it is not the prettiest gesture in the world.
I enjoy being conducted by you.
I know. I'm not saying you don't enjoy. That's not that people don't enjoy being conducted by me. It's just that my gesture. There are people with naturally pretty gestures. Summer Luma has gorgeous gesture. Like she looks beautiful when she is conducting. Joey, also an example of someone who looks absolutely amazing when she conducts. I cannot move my body like that. I just cannot move my body through space like that. There's a reason I quit musical theater, because I could not move my body.
I will say it was really cool. So I've also been conducted under our friend Joey, watching her evolve over the course of the semester. Her conducting gesture was not beautiful at the start of the semester, but it was fantastic come concert.
Well, and the other thing too is that's what also comes with effective communicating is I didn't have beautiful gesture, but Stolman has a philosophy of conducting called Laban. And the idea behind it is it comes actually out of dancing, but like the way that you move your arms is what communicates the intent of what you want your singers to do. So like, for example, like if you were to do warm-ups, like, and these are kinds of warm-ups that I would do, is I would make, Glee Club warm-up, like punching like a ha 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 he versus a ha 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 he, and punching the sound into your core feels different than chopping the sound. You know what I mean? And so you can do those kinds of actions with your arms, and that communicates what you want your singers to do without you having to verbally say, this is what I want you to do. Like, you can actually control the singer's air and core and intentionality with how you move your arms. That's a really hard skill to do, because that is to go from like beautiful gesture doesn't necessarily communicate those kinds of skills, and you have to look ugly. And that's the thing that someone then makes you do, is she makes you kind of erase your beautiful conducting to force you to do those kinds of Laban gestures. And it's by nature not always the prettiest thing to see, but
right.
Oh my word, is it effective?
Yes.
And ultimately up there, you need to do what's effective. And don't get me wrong, there are people with pretty gesture who are also effective. Mm-hmm. But you don't need to have pretty gesture to be an effective conductor.
Yes.
There's your hot take of the episode. Oh man.
All right, your turn. You got one more question for me?
Do I have one more question for you? Yeah. Why Gonzaga?
Oh, okay. Everybody buckle in. No, I'll give you kind of the quick and dirty. In high school, I wanted to be a musical theater major because I was a theater kid. That whole world is like its own universe. It's crazy. The people who go into MT are crazy.
Yeah.
The people who adjudicate and make those acceptances and create that process to audition for MT are crazier. It's bananas. Anyway, I did not know what I was doing. Did not hack it as an MT major. Suffice to say. Wound up between Gonzaga, which I just kind of applied to honestly, it's kind of a safety school.
That's how I applied to Gonzaga as well.
And then Cornish College of the Arts in Seattle. And I applied there as an MT major. They said, we really like you. You're not cut out to be an MT major. We want you to come be a part of our music program. You're a music obsessive fanatic. Like, you would be great. I was locked and loaded, ready to go to Seattle. And I just thought, I'll reach out to Gonzaga, see what their music program is like. Since when could a basketball school have a great music program?
Shocker.
And so Dave Fag, who is the jazz band professor, I sent him an email and said, hey, what's your band program like? Happy coincidence, I happened to be going to Spokane the next day for some medical appointments, and we happened to just be free at the right moment. He came in, gave me the tour, said, here's what you're going to get at Gonzaga. You're going to get to make music with people from all different backgrounds. And I really jived with that. He goes, if you go to Seattle and you go to Cornish, you will be with 600 music majors and do nothing but music all the time. If you go to Gonzaga, you're going to get a full college experience and get to work with other music majors, and you still get a great musical experience. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, and that was what sold me.
Yeah. And there's probably, there's also a blessing in disguise of being one of a very small handful of teachers, because like, you're going to get the opportunity to conduct one of the non-auditioned ensembles at Gonzaga. You go to somewhere like, UNT or, any of those large state schools.
Shout out University of North Texas.
Which have, like, I think I saw some statistic, I might be wrong, but they graduate like 500 choral music education majors a year. It's like an insane, either way, they have an insanely large music program, and there's a lot of students. There's no way that everyone can get to be, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's what they hire graduate assistants for. Like, the role of assistant conductor that Stallman's giving us, that is the responsibility of a graduate teaching assistant. Yeah. And you're getting that opportunity as an undergrad, which is only possible because you are one of 2 music education majors in your grade. That's the only reason it works.
Literally. Eliana's my work wife. It's great. Also, fun fact, UNT, University of North Texas, is where Mr. Fag went to grad school. Little never before heard.
I'm not trying to bash on UNT. UNT is a great school.
It's awesome. UNT is
phenomenal. And I think isn't
I know people.
there's a big choral guy
this will
there.
like
Isn't
that.
Marcus L.A. Garrett at UNT?
Walking Choral Encyclopedia.
Almost positive he's at UNT. Great composer and conductor.
Wow.
Sorry, you're right. I am a walking encyclopedia.
I have no idea who you're talking
The
about.
people I know. But yes, you get that opportunity because you are one of very few music education majors. And then you also get really close with them too. Like
Yes.
not just in your grade, but also just like across grades and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, the music eds were tight.
Yeah, I mean, like our core friend group we're all music education majors. And I
Yes.
think that's part of the reason why we're close friends is because we are small but mighty.
Yeah.
So
All right. Should we wrap things up?
I think, we've been talking a lot. The first part was however long, and this part was another. We are probably approaching an hour.
Dang. That's really cool.
It is really cool. I think this is going to be a really cool project for the future. And I think that we're going to have a lot of great conversations with people in the future. And I'm excited to continue learning with you.
Me too.
And it's just an excuse for us to keep nerding
Learning and laughing. There's going to be a lot of laughing.
There's going to be a lot of laughing and a lot of moments. But hey, this is an opportunity for us to continue doing what we love doing.
Absolutely.
And no one can yell at us because we are alone, just the two of us. And you're choosing to click and listen to
We
this.
can make it if we try. So with that, I'm Luke.
And I'm Trevor.
And this has been Beyond the Score.
We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Hi guys, this is editor Trevor here, and I just want to take a moment to say thank you all for making it to the end of our very first episode of our brand new podcast. Luke and I had a lot of fun recording with each other and recording this first ever conversation that we've had, and we're excited to bring our friends and other people who we respect and admire onto the show to broaden our musical horizons, and we're excited that you're on this journey with us. We also want to thank you for your patience as we're figuring out what putting a podcast out on the internet even looks like in the first place. There were definitely a couple technical hurdles that we've had to go through in this episode, so apologies for halfway through when we had to switch our setup and then the audio was like coming through each ear for each person, which was a little bit trippy and weird. The more we bring on guests in the future and just get used to what it looks like to produce a podcast, the more consistent the final product will be, and so we thank you for your patience as we have, a changing setup in this episode and some interesting background music. If you have any recommendations on how to get copy-free music that sounds semi-decent, please let me know. Luke and I have been talking over the last few days since we've posted the initial trailer, and the initial response we've gotten from you guys, and the excitement that you guys have shown for a show like this, just really warms our heart. We didn't expect the trailer, honestly, to get as much traction as it has already, us being, this being a hobby podcast and us kind of just doing this for our own benefit, but we're excited to see that all of you are interested in coming along this journey with us. So we're glad to have you, and we hope to see you back next time. If you're interested in continuing to support the show, there's a couple ways that you can do that. For starters, we've opened up an email account because Luke was just so excited to receive fan mail like all his other favorite podcasts. But if you have any feedback or you want to leave us questions that we can answer on the show, or you just have general suggestions on where we can go, you can reach out to us at beyondthescoreshow@gmail.com. You can also follow the show on wherever you get your podcasts. Right now, we're trying to work on getting us out onto the other major platforms like Apple Podcasts and Amazon Music and that kind of thing. But for now, you can find us and follow us over on Spotify, as well as subscribe to our YouTube, where you can get the video version of the podcast. But really, just the fact that you're listening is all that we could ever ask for. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. And we hope to see you back next month for our first guest episode. We've got a couple interviews lined up for the next couple of weeks that we are really, really excited to get to share with you. And it's going to be a lot of fun. But until then, thank you all so much for the support that you've given us so far, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.